So, I don't normally talk much in a microphone, so I'm going to do that. I usually sing, and I guess in other places I talk a lot to the dismay of some of the people around me sometimes, but I enjoy talking. So I might as well put it to good use, right? I could talk to a camera all day, but for some reason I am a little bit shy. I think I have good things to say, and I am very intelligent, and I'm aware of that. I'm very quirky, and I'm also aware of that. But I'm very healthy, and I'm happy, and I'm successful, and I have great relationships, and I am so grateful for all of the amazing people who surround me every day and from far away through social media and however else, snail mail in some cases. Um, I I saw I got a package from my mother. I haven't opened it yet. I'm not supposed to know about it. I wasn't supposed to see it, but I saw it. So I don't know what's in it. It's a surprise for my birthday, which is on Thursday. Um, anyways, I I have been struggling with understanding where to go from here. I never expected to be in my current circumstances, and I never expected to be so happy. If I had ever imagined the things that happening, sorry, let me rewind. I don't know if that quite makes sense. Even a year ago, 2 years ago, if you told me the things that happened would happen, like being laid off and having to live with my parents again in solitude without touching another human for 4 months, and then moving in with my new boyfriend because we have no other options really that make sense, and going from a suddenly long distance relationship to, yeah, it's there's a lot there, a lot to unpack. Um, yeah, losing all of my belongings. I'm so grateful for this beautiful new instrument and my beautiful new thrift store address. But it's really weird to. Um, it's really a beautiful experience to have the opportunity to let go of everything you thought mattered. I thought my job mattered. I thought where I lived in Beijing mattered. I thought the things I had collected mattered. I couldn't imagine parting with those things for any reason. I brought them across the world to China. All my sentimental things, I brought those to China. Like, that's how serious I was about never being separated from those things, those objects, which I now see are nothing. They don't matter. I haven't forgotten any of the people. I haven't forgotten the things, but I hold them still in my heart, and I don't physically need them anymore. I described it to my friend Mackenzie that, I think it was her. I've probably said it to a few people because, again, I talk a lot, uh, which I guess for this purpose is a good thing. But I told her that I feel like my apartment there, even though now I know somebody else has moved into it and it's probably completely redecorated and everything, I have this memory of just laying on my bed there. It was a tiny, tiny studio apartment. Like, you walk in the door and there's like the stove, the one stove burner, the sink, and then you take one step in and there's my bed. And on the side there's like a tiny table squeezed between my bed and the kitchen, and like two chairs squeezed in there somehow. Like, you can't even pull out one of the chairs, so I sit on my bed usually to eat food at the table. And then there's like a cabinet, which barely, the doors just miss the bed when they open on the far wall. Then there's like a little door that goes into the bathroom, and then there's a stacked laundry machine in there. There's no dryers. then a sink, and then the electric plugged-in Western toilet, and then the wet shower. So it's like all just in this compact little box. Like this dining room that I'm in now, slash living room, is bigger than the entire apartment. But I loved that place. And I also had a loft on top of the bathroom, and I figured out you could climb out the window and go onto the rooftops. It was beautiful. And sometimes cats would come in and look at the window. There was like some skylight windows, and cats would peek in at me, the ones that were climbing on the roof. And it was a beautiful place. And I had these bells that I got in Nashville with my younger sibling that made this tinkly sound. And I just loved that tinkly sound. But I also thought it was interesting that our mom and other older people can't hear it because you start to lose your sensitivity to those sounds. And I've been getting a lot of like tinnitus lately where I can hear that ringing in my ears. So I hope the next time I hear those bells somewhere in the world that I can still hear them. But if not, I can remember the sound. So it's okay. But it was a very beautiful place. And I had art that was made by my friends and my family hanging up all over. Like I had a paint or a like woven thing Reese made. It's like string glued on. And I had a metal painting thing that Len made. And Alexander and they'd given me we had this whole thing with sharks. I just realized I can't remember what the words were on it. It's something like always in my heart. But it was a triangle. What I'm remembering is that it's shaped like a shark tooth. And it's this triangle, this wooden triangle. And I don't remember what the words are that were on it. And that's interesting to me. But I remember the triangle, and it's gray. And I remember thinking it's like a shark tooth. And that always reminded me of them. And I had various art things I had collected in China. My friend Anna had painted a really beautiful painting for me as a Christmas present last year. So that was framed on my desk. I had some art that my parents had bought. I had a calendar of all the pictures of my family hanging up on one wall. And you could see all of this from my bed, just laying in my bed next to my collection of, I was starting a collection of China stuffed animals. So when I first got there, it was the year of the pig. So I got a pig stuffed animal named Love Pig. I got him on Taobao, which is like the Chinese eBay kind of. I was pretty proud of myself. It was one of my first purchases in China online. Love Pig. It literally had Love Pig like sewn into him. So it said Love Pig right on his belly. Kind of like a squishmallow. I don't know if you've ever played with those. And then one day when I was out with my friends, we were actually shopping. I think we were shopping for a birthday present for somebody else. I think I was with Daniel and I think I was with Anna, not Sammy. No, I was with Sammy. It was with Daniel and Sammy. And pretty sure. I hope they don't get upset that I don't remember these details, because the only thing I remember was setting my eyes upon this avocado-shaped bear. And I know they're everywhere now, but this was new to me. I had never seen such a creature. And I love avocados. Anybody who knows me now knows that I love avocados. So when I saw this avocado bear creature, I was so excited. And I thought, now it's the year of the rat. So I'm going to get a rat stuffed animal, and then every year I can get whatever the Chinese zodiac is, I can get that kind of stuffed animal and make it like a collection or something. That was just my idea. So I was like, well, this is a bear, and I really don't have space for stuffed animals. So I called it Ratacado, and I convinced myself that it was a rat and not a bear. Oh, I also had this stuffed animal named Tiberius that Mackenzie sewed for me. She sewed it herself. It's a little pink cat thing. I would love to have Tiberius back. That makes me sad to not have him. But again, they're all still objects, and I haven't forgotten him. And maybe this recording will help me remember it all better. I should record it now. I guess that's literally what I'm doing right now. I had this calligraphy. So I ordered for my dad for Christmas. I ordered a stone stamp, that would have Chinese characters, and it spelled out our last name, but the Chinese transliteration, so Shwang Ke instead of Shwang. Uh, so I got that on like a stone thingy, and so he could stamp his name on there. And with it, the seller, I was just texting with this seller on WeChat, and she was so honored that I was giving this as a gift to my dad. She thought that was a wonderful thing, because in China, respecting your elders is more important than it is in a lot of other places. Um, so she, as a gift, gave me a calligraphy that she made just as a gift in the package. And so I had that hanging on my wall, and it said Zhizai, which is like, I guess, sort of to be, like I am being, I am. And I thought that was really beautiful, and so I had that hanging on my wall. My walls weren't big enough, but I had another beautiful calligraphy. This was another special thing to me. I met four amazing, sorry, I was counting myself in the five because we were like the five amigos, you know? So I met four amazing, amazing French friends, and they took me on so many adventures. We went to Shijiazhuang, and I guess I could tell these stories. I should tell these stories at some point. And I just remember standing in this skyscraper in this city I had never heard of. And I have these four amazing people sitting in the living room speaking French and drawing pictures. And we were having a great time. And I was just standing there looking out the window. And I was like, this is my real life right now. This is something. This is real life. Okay. Like, I had to stop for a minute and remember, like, this is the life I chose. And it was pretty cool. I was pretty proud of myself in that moment. I mean, not that's silly and glamorous or whatever, but it's like, it just felt very right. I know I sound really posh and annoying, but there was something just magical about being in a place I had never expected. It wasn't about them being cool and French or something. It was about just being somewhere I never ever anticipated. And the next day we went to some temple I had never heard of. That was kind of suspended between some mountains, and it was some kind of Chinese holiday, so everybody was at home with their families, so there really was nobody else there. Like, we saw maybe two people the whole time we were at the temple. And yeah, it was just it was really beautiful to have that temple all to ourselves, and it was just a very beautiful place. And I don't know. There's so many good memories. We camped out on the Great Wall. That's the night I was wanting to tell about, because this is all circling back, somehow, some way. And we had a friend, one of their friends they were all graphic designers. So someone from their graphic design school or something, a Chinese woman from a different region in China was coming to Beijing, and she said we could stay with her father if we wanted to go camp at the Great Wall, because they lived a little bit closer. So she could drop us off at a bus stop that would only be maybe 1 hour drive to the mountain. So we went to her house the night before. It was like a couple hours on the subway to get to her house in the north of Beijing. And we get there, and I've never seen houses like this in China. It was like a 3-story mansion, and they had a big ping pong table inside, and a nice big dining room, and bedrooms upstairs. I mean, there was separate bedrooms for all of us. And in the attic, her father was a traditional artist, so he was doing traditional Chinese calligraphy and painting. He was making this huge mural on one wall of those tall, skinny mountains in the south of China somewhere. I really want to see those. So he was doing these beautiful paintings and encouraged us to just watch him. And the daughter, she cooked food for us, and she was teaching us how to cook and making fun of us because we didn't know how to cook. And so she made tons and tons of beautiful food, and we played ping pong, and we just had a really beautiful, silly, fun time. And then the next morning, her father, I think it was the next morning, not that night, because, yeah. The next morning, her father invited us to, or he asked if he could give us some calligraphy. And so we watched him paint the 5 calligraphy things for us. And he gave us each different characters. And yeah, so we each got this, and they were big. That's why I couldn't hang it up in my apartment. My apartment was a little too small for it. I was hoping, of course, someday I could bring it back here or bring it to wherever I move next, and perhaps it would be all good. But it's a piece of paper, and I have that beautiful memory, and I really don't think it'll go away. Because that next day we walked for hours and hours and hours, and we got to the tallest tower in the Great Wall. It's a little bit south. It's near Mutianyu. Mutianyu, yeah. But like just past the tourist section, if you walk for another hour or two, you can get to the wild section, and you can get to the mountains. And so we hiked and hiked and hiked. At one point, like, we can see the Great Wall at level with us where we are in the mountain, but where we're going is the highest tower. So we like think we're like, yeah, we're close to the top. I can see the wall. It's eye level. And then it was like another hour or two hiking to get to the top because we were going to the highest tower. So we didn't even plan on that. That was, well, maybe they did. I just honestly, my friends planned everything, and I just tagged along, and it was wonderful. And it was wonderful. I really appreciate them. They really were great planners, and well, I don't know if they actually had plans every time. I think a lot of it was winging it. But we went to the top of that mountain, and there was a photographer up there just taking pictures. We got there right at sunset. It was a little chilly. We bundled up in our sleeping bags, watched the sunset, and we stayed up late talking. And there was one of the guys, the photographer guy, had a tent, and he stayed in his tent. And we all snuggled up in our sleeping bags and like huddled up, crammed into this one corner of the tower, because you can stay in the towers. There's like one covered tower, and then we could like climb up the rocks to get up to the top. So this is like unrestored. So it's not, most of the wall is not restored. So it's just like ruins. And so we were up at the top there. And we woke up for sunrise. Well, we woke up well before sunrise because we weren't really sure when sunrise was because we couldn't get phone service up there. And maybe we didn't plan so well, but it worked out perfectly. But eventually we got to watch sunrise, and the photographer guy was up too, and he was just going crazy. He was so excited because it was so beautiful, and it was justified, his reaction, because it was really beautiful. But yeah, so the next morning we walked back down, and we walked through to the normal section where we're supposed to be. Yeah. Another time I got to play music. That was another, like, when I had literally never performed in front of anybody other than like in the background at parties when nobody's paying attention. I was that guy in the corner, like, yeah, I'm so cool. Not really. I didn't want to talk to too many people, but I like talking more now. So, where was I? Oh, Anna, one time, she was like, hey, do you want to read poetry at the Great Wall at this beautiful resort? And I was like, I don't really do poetry, but I sing sometimes. Is that okay? And she's like, sure. Yeah, it's just going to be a casual thing. And I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds fun. Because I had met her at different writing events and things around the city. And so I went with her, and they like had a van pick us up near some mall. So we went in the van, and it took us to this beautiful, it's like a hotel, but it was just being used for this event. They had a nice patio on the roof, kind of a rooftop patio thing, and it's in the mountains in a really small village. So it's really peaceful. There's a lot of farmers and just a really small, quaint town. And I didn't realize it was like a concert kind of thing or like a reading thing. So they had set up like chairs, and it was like a whole thing. There was drinks, and they had people reading poetry and reading their short stories. So it was a really nice event, really cool. But I was like, I don't know if I'm a performer, but it went well. It was fun. It was really nice. Yeah. So I think I developed a lot more confidence in all of my abilities, really, because I had to stand up for myself personally. I had to make new friends, and doing that requires being cool. Like, you have to, if you want to not be alone, you have to improve yourself. And it takes, that sounds really harsh. I don't mean it like that. But I mean, I know I feel better about myself. This is all I can speak for is myself. I can't speak for anybody else. I don't know what you've been through, what anybody else has been through. I just know that for me, I feel best when I'm making myself better. When I'm holding myself accountable and holding myself responsible for what's going well and what's not. I can't control the outside. I can't control whether things are going well or badly for other people. I can't control whether the economy will go well. I've learned the very hard way, I can't control whether my job will exist tomorrow. I can't control where I will live. I can't control, well, I can, but what I expect might not be what happens. I can control based on whatever circumstances come. I can choose what to do next, but I can't control the outside forces. And trying to just makes me miserable. It makes me feel lost and confused. Because of course it does. Because it's out of my control what happens. It's out of my control now what happens when whoever becomes president, you know? What I can do, I can take my actions. I can do what I would like to do. But once I've exhausted those avenues, I need to move forward with my life and not worry about it. And maybe I've gone on too much of a tangent here. I don't know if this is all connecting very well. But all I'm saying is, I know when I make myself better, I feel more confident. And it's not easy, but I don't know how to explain that. It's once you get used to doing the hard things, they become fun because they're rewarding. They're so rewarding. It's hard the first time, and it's hard the second time, and sometimes it's hard the 100th time to do something better and to feel better. But eventually it does click, and eventually, at least a little bit, something changes, something shifts. Like, if I take the actions I want to take that I know will improve my life. Like, sometimes I catch myself saying, oh, he should do this, or you should do this. When really, that's something I should probably be doing for myself, and I should probably acknowledge that and own up to it. That often when I say, you should write a book, or you should do this, I really mean I should try to do those things, because that's maybe something I want in my heart a little bit. I think a lot of times when we tell what we think other people should do, I think that's often what we should probably do. I see it in everybody around me. If they give me advice on oh, you should do this, that's them saying I think you're better at this than I am. So I would love to do that, but I'm going to live vicariously through you and hope that you do these things. When really it should be us. If we want something to get done, if we're physically capable of it. If we're not physically capable of it, what are we physically capable of? That's just because we're not physically capable of our primary dream. Like right now, I'm not physically capable of returning to China very easily. I mean, I could probably if I put in the effort, but it might not be in the way that I want. So I have to look at what is the path of least resistance, but that still requires me to work for my passion. It's not that I want to be lazy. I want to work on my passion and all of my passions the most efficiently as possible so that my work is valuable. I don't want to have to do work to be in a certain place uh, or doing a certain job or just being a certain person first. No, I don't have any qualifications for what is required for me to begin working on what I think is really important now. So I guess that's what I need to confront the most is, after all of this, what do I really see as the most important thing? Because that is what I should focus on. I should be focusing on how I can begin working towards that purpose now. Not how I can live a more comfortable lifestyle. Maybe I need a different lifestyle to achieve what those purposes are, but I need to do that then. I shouldn't be waiting to do that. What am I waiting for? Am I waiting for some cue from the universe that now is go time? There is no now is go time. It's now or never. It's if I think I need something, why am I not doing it? Why am I hesitating? What am I waiting for? And I guess in this situation, there's a lot that I'm waiting for. There is a pandemic, and there's a lot of other factors involved that are out of my control. So in some ways, patience is also very important, and that's something I need to work on. I guess I think I'm very patient, but I still need to work on it. I'm very patient, and I still need to work on it. There's no such thing as perfect patience. Perhaps there is, but I haven't seen it yet. And if I think I have, I'm likely mistaken. But anyways, I digress. I think the whole point of this was that I was going to sing, but then I realized that I never talk to the camera like this, and I don't know, it's kind of fun, but I wonder if it's too private, but I guess sometimes the most vulnerable, best content is very vulnerable. It's vulnerable. I could also edit things. I guess that would be the best way to do it. Edit out some of the bad stuff. Leave in the good. Yeah. I guess I don't need the recorded audio then. Hopefully I'm not talking too quietly. We could fix that. Okay, bye.